You might actually be the most derivative one of all. I mean, Christ, the same house.
Maybe so, but you forgot the first rule of surviving a stab movie. Never answer the...
I'm bored.
Wait!
And welcome back to Horror Queers. It's our recurring monthly overview of things that we're excited for, or in this month, maybe just things that are coming out. I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace. And yeah, this was a barren wasteland of horror releases, which is unusual because I feel like we've had an embarrassment of riches for the past, full year. Every single month, it's been like release after release after release. And now we have this.
Yeah, I don't know what the logic is. Maybe everybody just skipped May in their calendars, or I mean, it's baffling. There's just not a lot to talk about, to be honest.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll kick us off though, because I think the biggest or most high profile horror release we have is the sequel, The Wrath of Becky, which of course we're covering on the Patreon feed. But yeah, this is going to be in theaters May 26th. It is a sequel to the 2020 film Becky, but we've got a brand new creative team behind this thing, which has me very intrigued because I liked the first Becky, didn't love it, but I enjoyed it. So I'm interested to see what they pull in for this sequel.
Yeah, I mean, we're bearing the lead. We've already seen the new film. I think if you've seen the first film, you'll like the new film. But yeah, it's interesting going from the folks who made Cooties, and those are the folks who made the first film, to the people who made The Open House, which is a Netflix original horror film, which is not great, but it looks okay.
Well, and that's the thing. So they wrote and directed The Open House. It's a man-woman duo that are doing this. And then they both directed but didn't write the Netflix film Hypnotic that starred Kate Siegel. And neither one of these were big hits. I heard horrible things about The Open House. But the interesting thing to me is the team behind Cooties does the first movie, which is more of a serious film. It doesn't have a lot of, there's humor, but it's not like, I wouldn't say it's a funny movie. Then you take these people who are doing serious thrillers and horror films for Netflix, and they inject so much comedy into this sequel. Obviously we're not going to give away our full thoughts on it yet. Go to our Patreon to hear that. But I just think it's a really interesting swap up for this sequel.
Agreed. Yeah. And you're right when you said it's the most high profile release of the month, because when we come back to me now for my first pick of the month, I found some interesting titles, but I can't say that I know whether they're going to be any good. I didn't even know these were coming out until I started scouring the internet. So yeah, folks, the first one I'm going to talk about is called Faithfully Yours. It's due to come out on Netflix it's like mid-ish May. And this is a Dutch, potentially erotic thriller about two different women who each cover for each other, kind of like you would as a child, where you would say, oh, Trace and I are going to each other's houses. And then we would not go to each other's houses. We would go off and do something else. So they're each having respective affairs and they're covering for each other with their husbands. But then one of the women goes missing.
Yeah, I'd never heard of this, but the premise alone, I think it sounds really intriguing. But I was like, why haven't I heard of this? But I guess because it's Dutch, right? It's not in English, so Netflix doesn't promote it.
Literally, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm interested enough to talk about this on our YouTube channel, so I should request a screener because I also really love erotic thrillers, and they don't even have it in the PR background, so I can't even request a screener. I guess I'll just wait for this to drop like everyone else.
That is bizarre. Well, if y'all seen it, let us know what you think.
Sure.
Well, swinging back around to me, so this is a film that it had a festival release last year, but it's finally coming out on VOD on May 19th. But this is going to be Jolo Trulio's Outpost. He wrote and directed this. And again, this is a situation when we have a comedic person dipping their toes into horror. I actually had never heard of this. I think the trailer looks intriguing. I have no idea what the quality of this is going to be, but basically, yeah, it's a woman goes up to a mountain. She's fighting her own demons, but then of course, I guess there are actual demons. It does look a little bit like Gaslighty, where she's seeing things, but no one else is. This could go either way. And then again, the name Jolo Trulio has me intrigued. I wasn't fully sold on this trailer, but again, I always find comedians doing horror, at least they will bring something new, hopefully, to the table, or they just do the bare minimum thinking, it's fine. It's a horror movie. People will watch it.
Yeah, I didn't even know that he was directing films, so this was a surprise to me. I was intrigued by the trailer. I think it could be good, but it also could be extremely generic. And you and I have talked a lot about how tired we get of films led by women where it's like, are they going crazy or is it
Yeah.
real? And this looks like it could be falling into that category.
Well, the trailer for this one is one of those ones where like it doesn't look like a very fast paced like actiony horror film where there's like a bunch going on. It looks more like a slow burn.
Yeah.
But the trailer does that thing where the score accompanying the footage in the trailer is like really and it makes it look so intense. And I was like, I don't think it's gonna be like that in actuality.
No, like all the action we probably see in that trailer is from the last 15 to 20 minutes.
100%. I mean, would love to be proven wrong, but we'll see.
We shall see. Yeah. So my only other one is another foreign film, again coming to Netflix. This is a Spanish horror film called Tin and Tina. And Trace, I will confess, this is probably my most anticipated film of the month based on what we're getting because it is bare bones. But like, if you see the poster of this, you kind of know what you're getting in for. So it's set in the early 1980s Spain. The film follows Adolfo and Lola, a couple who have a miscarriage, and they end up adopting these two albino foster children who were raised in a ultra Catholic education that, this is me quoting the IMDb page, makes them interpret the Holy Bible verbatim. So these little kids are going to fucking kill people.
Oh my God, you're eating shellfish? Die. Because all these different sins have different punishments in the Bible. So I actually think that's a really, really, really nifty idea that has social commentary baked into it just because of the premise alone. This sounds fun.
So it could be very fun. I could only find a trailer in Spanish, so I don't know about the quality of the dialogue or the performances. This could just be a generic killer kid movie, which I'm also kind of fine with. But yeah, the premise has got me interested.
God, are we in like an era of killer? I wonder if like the success of Evil Dead Rise is going to really like bring forth more children in horror films.
Maybe.
Who knows? Well, okay, so my last one is very much horror adjacent. This is more of an action thriller film, but there was nothing else I was excited for this month. So I'm doing the Mother, the Jennifer Lopez film that hits Netflix on May 12th.
Right.
I mean, again, pretty basic plot. While fleeing from dangerous assassins, an assassin comes out of hiding to protect the daughter she left behind earlier in life. Right. Truth be told, I think this trailer looks pretty generic. It doesn't look like it's really breaking any new ground. But I will never say no to Jennifer Lopez being a badass. I also think that the director, we had a female director, Nikki Caro. Okay. And she is, she made a real big name for herself back in 2002 when she made Whale Rider. And the
Whale Rider. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And she really didn't do much, but she also directed 2020's live action Mulan film. So she can do prestige, she can do Disney appropriate action. So I'm intrigued to see what she does with an R-rated action movie.
Right. I'll confess I was sold on J-Lo as a former assassin who has to like kill a bunch of guys. But I mean, we've talked about things that we're tired of earlier in the episode. I fucking hate movies where mothers have to protect their kids. It's exhausting to me. I just don't care.
Well, and to be fair, the movie is called The Mother. So like
that is the premise. It's just, I'm like, you know what? You could have just given me J-Lo assassin movie.
Yeah, give me J-Lo Atomic Blonde, although I guess in this case, like Atomic Brunette.
Yes. Okay, you know what? J-Lo versus Charlize in the sequel.
Why didn't we get spin-offs of that? Yeah, Atomic Brunette, Atomic Redhead. Atomic Black Hair. Atomic Black.
Oh, no. Think about what you just said.
I know. Oh, God. But yeah, that's all I've got, Joe.
That is also all I have. But you know what? Here's the thing. Maybe we missed something. I mean, there's a lot of titles that are dropping on streaming that were previously only available on either VOD or theatrical. So there are other things. I kind of feel like we should plug Screenbox, if only because obviously we do work for Bloody Disgusting, but they are adding new titles all the time. So like Project Wolf Hunting, which is like a super gory creature feature-y kind of thing on a boat, is apparently coming to Screenbox this month. So there are other titles for people to consider, but we wanted to highlight a couple people maybe don't even know are coming.
I mean, I didn't know about either one of your movies, so.
No, me neither. There we go. We learned something.
All right, everyone. Well, until next month when we go through June's hopefully less barren landscape of horror releases, we can cross out this YouTube episode.
Indeed. Yes. We'll talk to you next month.